Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce, and back in the hot seat is Kristin Hartnett. Welcome back.
That's right, Angela. Don't you get comfortable.
and she did say to me, if you want me back. But
she said you're all our besties now. Oh. Whatever.
Well,
fine.
Well, but you know, I'm besties with Kristin, and I have to say, Kristin has been doing a lot of things for the Chamber, and also I want to recognize you for all your work that you do of the Big E, and telling everybody about our great New London County and some of the good things that are going on in Mystic. So I know you had a couple bad days, the weather day, but it looks like you survived.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was
wonderful.
There's thousands and thousands of people, and the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce sends me and Rita Rivera from the tourism district up there, and we just talk about Mystic. We just hang out in that little section. We talk about Mystic. We give out information. So if you're a member of the Chamber, then that's one of the member benefits is that we are going to these places where thousands of people are and bringing people to Mystic, and that's what you pay us for.
And I have to tell you something, Mystic is just leaps and bounds this year, and so many things going on. Outside of Mystic Pizza's great. But for a while there, we were kind of stuck at Mystic Pizza. But I'm going to tell you, between SIFT and some of our greater beautiful stores downtown and our restaurants, our 36, and all the great members, we've just got a lot happening. Our aquarium, the Mystic Seaport, the Dennis Pequot Seapost, and just so many things going on.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Right, because we'll give it to you.
That's right.
All of it to you.
So speaking of Mystic Pizza, we are having a business after hours celebrating the 30th anniversary of the movie Mystic Pizza.
Can't be.
That's right. You are
Can't be.
It's true. Yes. Not you. The audience.
I had the opportunity to meet Julie Roberts and staff, and some of the people that were in downtown and shooting downtown Mystic. One of my friends, John Holstein, owned the Porsche that drove down North Main Street, so there was a lot of things. So there's a lot of things that we could probably tell you about Julie Roberts. All good. Good. The only thing I ever said to her was, "Love your hair."
Really?
Well, it
was big hair.
Big hair.
Oh yeah, that's right. She had that big hair.
Big. And for all of us that had straight hair, always wanted the
big hair.
So, what else is going on, Kristin?
So the business after hours is October 16th. We're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Mystic Pizza movie at Mystic Luxury Cinemas.
Fantastic.
So they serve beer and wine.
Well,
and they're going to have snacks, and maybe they'll have Mystic Pizza.
I have the second row back and the wine.
So if you want to dress up 80s, like bring all your scrunchies.
Did we give those clothes away?
Big hair. I know they're in there
I still
somewhere.
have the Dynasty. I could be Falcon Kerstin. I have the shoulders. Okay, I just want to let everybody know. So I can come.
Okay, good. You qualify.
And what else?
Well, we have some great nonprofit organizations in
our
membership, and a lot of them gain benefits from our calendar, for instance. And we also have the banner program, the banner that goes over Main Street. That is something that nonprofit organizations can take advantage of. And the nonprofits also throw galas, which we advertise and we promote, and we're thrilled to do so. And we go to them too, and we try to
And so do
support.
we have one of our favorite nonprofits here today?
Today.
Would you like to do the honors?
Yes, so today we would like to welcome the Riverfront Children's Center.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Thank you.
And
so excited to be here.
Yes, Susan, you, how many years now have you been the executive director? 2 years.
Oh, up and
Susan Radway. But Susan, I have to tell you, and I've known a lot of executive directors that have come through and through a lot of our nonprofits. But Susan, right away, she got into it, and right away she just got into her job in the community, and here she is, and not new to Mystic Matters. So welcome back. Welcome back.
And not new to Mystic.
That's right, not new to Mystic. And then on my right. So you have Kristin, you have Kerstin, you have, I want to introduce, and she's going to tell you her title and her last name, because if you can spell it, okay, and write it, I don't know what you win, but I'm going to tell you all about the Riverfront Children's Center. So
Hi, I'm Kerstin Elenteny, and I am the Development Director with Riverfront Children's Center.
And welcome.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
Now, how long have you been with the Riverfront Children's Center?
I also am just about 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
We're so
Excellent.
glad to have you on. So, we have a lot of nonprofits, and of course, this is one of my favorites. I don't know why. I think it's just an ease to talk about the Riverfront Children's Center. But what is your mission, Susan? And well, I guess 2 things. Where are you located? Okay, I think that's a need-to-know basis, and then sort of tell us about what you do over there.
Sure, absolutely. So 476 Thames Street, right across from the big green building part of Electric Boat.
I bet you say that all the time.
Everybody knows it, though. It's like a perfect landmark.
Yeah, you can't miss it.
Street,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And we've been there for about 35 years. Started as one classroom with 23 children, and now we have 11 classrooms with 122 children. And our mission is to provide high quality, affordable early care and education for children and support for their families.
Okay. So there's a little bit of a, so this isn't, when you say that, what ages are you talking about? You're saying, so these parents can drop off these children before they go to work, or what exactly is that service providing?
Right, so we're open at 6 a.m. and we close at 5 p.m. Most children do not spend that amount of time in one place. We're here for care for parents that are working, for children 12 weeks old to 12 years old. So those school-age children are before and after school and school vacation and days off from school, and the younger children are for whatever those work hours are, and we're seeing an increasing number of children that are here when our doors open at 6. So we're having to work with some staffing and make sure we've got the right ratios. But with Electric Boat families or families that are working a little further away, a lot of healthcare shifts start at 7, and if you need to drive a half an hour to get to your job, you've got to settle your child in at 6, get to the car, get there. So we've got a lot of early families.
Now, do you see any more growth? Because you're talking about a huge amount of growth. You're like 1 classroom and now it's 11 classrooms.
Right.
Is there a chance to become even bigger? Is that such a thing as a daycare center that is as big as like a senior center? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, absolutely there is. And there is a waiting list, and there is always a need, particularly for younger children. Very difficult to find center-based care for infants and toddlers.
Well, that's what I was, I guess, trying to get to, because that's from 6 weeks. That's
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
12
okay,
weeks.
12
So it's like
weeks.
maternity leave, and
Yeah,
the minute
then-
your maternity leave is
And then
over,
you're
you
back.
go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So, Kristin, what other type of programs are offered?
Well, first I want to mention, just in addition to the early childhood care and education that we do, there are a number of wraparound services that we offer that are unique to Riverfront. So we do have a food pantry, and we offer fresh fruits and vegetables and lean proteins through a brown bag program that go home with families every week. And we're going to piggyback and talk a little bit about our agricultural program, but we do have a big emphasis on nutrition that we try to share with families. We have a diaper bank. We have a personal hygiene closet where families are able to get everything from feminine products to more expensive things like laundry detergent, shampoo, conditioner. So things that support the needs of the family just beyond the education and care.
So can we get back to sort of the nutritional part, because how important is today? I mean, not like in the 50s and 60s when you kind of, open up, you get whatever you have to open up.
Box and can, baby.
Well, no, what was I thinking of? For Pop-Tarts, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic.
The classic family that's very busy, affordable, and you go back.
We say Pop-Tarts.
This is the reason
This is so
why
true.
I want to kind of sort of emphasize on but because I was trying to tell somebody the other day that those type of products, number one, are not good for you, but number two, aren't as they think it's inexpensive. When moving towards a more nutritional way is really, you're not saving anything by the Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Right? So the emphasis on good early child nutrition sort of sets that basics to these kids as they grow up.
I think that's absolutely true. And also a part of the curriculum at Riverfront is a program called I Am Moving, I Am Learning, which is a movement-based and nutritional-based program. And as you know, obesity is a huge concern in America, especially among young children. And so through that program, we were really able to come with the idea of starting an agricultural garden at the center. And I think we're going to jump ahead and talk about that in a few minutes. But we found that the nutritional piece is huge, and that there's lots that we can do at the school, send home recipes with families, do food prep with the kids, and they can come to the table with more knowledge early on.
Is it making a difference? Do you see that the parents come in and say, we tried this recipe and it was great, or they say, oh, I'm so glad that my child is not a spaz anymore because he stopped eating peanut butter or whatever?
Yeah, I'm just really curious about
Well, I
this.
think that one of the things is that the kids are excited about what they're learning. There's a lot of opportunity to partner, say, a piece of literature along with a recipe. So, for example, Stone Soup is something that we've talked about a ton, which is a great book. Families were involved in coming in and making a vegetable soup together. It became a community activity that was shared on Facebook. So just for the dialogue to be happening is something different than it was even 2 years ago. So I think that's huge.
One of the biggest factors really is that time, and so helping families think about how to structure the time that they do have in a way that can be most beneficial to all of them. And so it's great when we see families come in that there's some fruit for their children in a container, as opposed to opening the Pop-Tart. We still see Pop-Tarts, but whatever. Yeah. We also see the things that are picked up on a drive-through on the way by because it's quicker than something that they could put together in a container at home. But we encourage that. Leftovers, we see leftovers for lunch, and then we know families are cooking, and then their child is eating some of those leftovers for lunch, as opposed to a Lunchable that we see a lot of them too, because it's about time.
Yeah. But aren't some of the programs that you're really helping out these young families and giving them an opportunity to care for their kids. But when you said there's a waiting program, how do you take them? Who gets in first is, I guess, how does that work,
Right,
Susan?
there is a waiting list, and it has to do with which classroom has what kind of space, so what age we're looking for is mostly in the order of which we take somebody, but there are some priorities. So if we get a call from DCF with somebody with a child that's been removed from their family and needing to go into a foster care setting, and that family is working and needs care, we don't exit somebody, but if we have a space open, they would get a space. Okay. Siblings also receive a space. So if we have an infant spot opening up, and there's somebody on maternity leave, and in 2 weeks their child is going to be 12 weeks old, that space will hold for that child. So there are some advantages there, and it is hard to manage and tell exactly when a space would be open. But children have to age up to the next classroom before we have a space or somebody has to move.
Right.
Now, do you service military families as well? Do you find that?
We do.
So then they might move.
Right.
Open a space
right.
up.
Sometimes I believe we open a little bit earlier than the center on the base, so that has been advantageous, helpful for us. We do have some preschool openings right now. Just the beginning of the year, our 19 kindergartners graduated and moved
19 kindergartners graduated.
19 children to kindergarten. Yep.
Right. Wow, that's a pretty big.
It is a big number.
That's a big number.
It is a big number.
Wow. So. Is there financial assistance? How does the financial part work?
There is.
There is financial assistance, and I'm just going to say the statistic that we have right now is about 95% of our families receive some sort of assistance to be there. Some of that is funded federally and at the state level. A good portion of it is also through private contributions. Our upcoming gala, those proceeds all go to the tuition assistance program.
I guess that's
Kerstin is the one that works hard to make sure we have those funds
on the development side.
Right, on the development side, and on the administration side, then we need to look at what are the qualifications for assistance. So we use an Office of Early Childhood sliding scale fee and look at income information that's provided by the family, and then that tells us what the parent fee would be. So the tuition rate is $235 a week for infant and toddler care, children under 3, and 3 and 4-year-olds, it's $185 a week. So based on salary, parents pay anything from nothing if they're not working and going to school to the full pay amount.
I think as we're knitting all of these pieces together too, it's important to say that at the administration level, we recognize that in the region, there's certainly a food scarcity issue for people in all income brackets, it seems, but that's something that we really see at the center. So that had something to do in terms of deciding to go ahead with this farm to table, farm to preschool program, which then became a farm to family appeal. This year we wrote an appeal for funds to be able to continue to help feed our food pantry. So the agricultural, the food piece is important. So I just wanted to make sure we tie that together.
So I've watched, and I think you have too, the Riverfront Children's Center sort of grow. I mean, we've had a lot of different people from your organizations. Nonprofits are really, some of them struggling, but will always continue to, because that's sort of the nature of nonprofits. Kerstin, what is the appeal to, if the people are out there, to give into the Riverfront Children's Center? I mean, we all know it, and what a great organization. But what would you say to some of the people out there as we come into the fourth quarter and we look at our businesses and we look at some of the people that can help? Well, what would you say to them as we go forward and you wanted to donate?
I think one of the things that's really important is that the people who are at the center benefiting from our services are our neighbors. And a lot of times I'll have a conversation with somebody and they don't necessarily recognize that there's people here within their own community that are in need of assistance. And I do think, as we have the gala coming up, that's really been one thing that we tried to convey to people who have been supporters, is that it takes a village, and that village is our own community, and we're helping families. We're helping not only the children, but the entire nucleus around that child. And ultimately, these are kids that are going to be entering our school systems. And so it's to everyone's advantage for our children to be coming into the school in a good social emotional place, which is something that we work on, prepared to learn and to become productive. And so I think that the support that we give to the whole family, it helps us all.
Are there other organizations that you, like a sister organization in another town or city that you are in communication with, or anything like that? Is anybody else doing what you're doing?
So we do have a good support group of other child care centers, center-based nonprofit organizations. One of the things that makes us unique in this area is the other nonprofits are part of a bigger agency that provide other services as well. Our sole purpose is early care and education. And then across the state there are certainly other nonprofit organizations that focus just on child care. And we as directors have participate together in some groups that help us help each other. We address concerns and problems, and just think about how we grow and look at the current trends and how to address them. And we're a member of the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance, which is an advocacy group, and that helps support us at the Capitol as well in terms of legislation that would help make a difference for us as an organization as well as our families.
I do think one thing that Riverfront does really well, and maybe a little bit unique to other centers, is that I feel like we really push our curriculum agenda and continue to come up with innovative programs. And I think that one thing that we'll really be able to highlight is some of the programmatic changes that we've made this year that really continue to benefit the kids and happen through partnerships throughout the area.
So one of those overarching pieces is our emphasis on social emotional development, skill development.
I think you've done this before, Susan, but that was my next question, and I'd like to just tap into that a little bit.
Yeah. So we have now worked with all of our preschool teachers with the Second Step curriculum to be able to use that, infuse lessons about identifying feelings, sharing feelings, expressing empathy, understanding other people's feelings, and problem solving into all of the curriculum work that they do. So people come and visit and say, we see kindness in your center.
I was just going to say kindness is a
big
consistent
word.
piece of feedback that's given by people who visit the center, and we think that's really an important takeaway.
I think it is too. I mean, I always used to, when I look back on sort of, some of the generational things, and I always used to say, why wasn't that taught back in the 50s and 60s? And so, I mean, I always, social and emotions that really, there wasn't any kind of program for something like that for especially a young child who may be coming from a divorced family or just a family that wasn't quite intact. And to share your feelings. Usually you just get that kid in there, something's wrong that day, but they were basically taught, don't say anything. All this stuff is kind of a private thing.
Right.
So I always just thought, that's just something that you catch that early on.
Yeah.
It's just a great advantage as they grow older.
Now, is there a discipline type of thing too? I mean, I understand the kindness and that makes sense. Like it makes sense to validate people and validate children, and that would probably keep them from having more problems. But do you find that there's a discipline? Is there like a structure?
So certainly positive influences are the way to go and help encouraging positive interactions. But certainly sometimes accidents happen, sometimes mistakes happen, children act impulsively. And so there are times, classrooms have thinking chairs. So the place to sit for a minute and think about what you did and then what are you going to say to the other person. So if you did shove them or you did grab a toy away because you wanted it and you didn't remember to use your words, you sit, you think about it for a minute, you talk with the teacher, and then you go back and you apologize.
I think we still need that. And like,
there's some adults that might need that out there. So
in the boardroom.
I have so many questions. But anyways, we just kind of have a queue up, and I think, Frank, we're gonna roll some of those photos so that the ladies can set us up for what we're seeing. Oh my God!
This is one of my favorite
I was just going
pictures.
to say, such a great photo.
This is an example of 1-year-olds learning about feelings.
Isn't that perfect?
So this is a snowman in the wintertime that's angry, and they're making that expression and then talking about is this what you look like when you're angry? This is what your face looks like.
How do you read other people's emotions? Precious? If you see somebody making this face, what does this mean?
Wow, that's really good.
I love this.
Isn't that great?
Okay, next, Frank.
Yeah. So then this one, these are two 1.5-year-olds helping zip his coat.
Adorable.
So helping each other. I know how to zip. Let me zip.
Can we share this on the nightly news? Just saying. It's just a comment.
It's just too adorable. Too adorable. But that's what they see. Somebody's there. They're ready. They're going outside. I can't do it. And somebody else can.
I feel like I don't remember anything from my childhood when I look at this.
I know.
Who knows?
Okay, Frank.
So we have some new garden areas at Riverfront, and we've really worked in conjunction with a number of local organizations through granting processes to create outdoor learning labs. That's been a whole evolution. And last year we had a function in the spring in our Peace Garden, which is a mindfulness space where somebody had said, it would be like a great evolution of this would be if you could bring music to Riverfront, bring music to the gardens and start having concerts here, introduce the children to instruments. So this spring we took place in Make Music Day, Southeastern Connecticut, where you could sign up as a host organization and have different bands come throughout the day to play. So it was sort of our first step into the music world. And then after that, we wound up partnering with the Eastern Connecticut Symphony Orchestra to come in over the summer and work with the children a couple of times, help them learn about the different groups in the orchestra, and then ultimately the kids had a performance at our kindergarten moving up ceremony where they performed together. So this is somebody coming and sharing all of the different components of the woodwind section, sharing trumpets. It was awesome. For kids to be able to put their hands right on the instruments. We had the percussion session there. It was great.
Yeah. So this is making kids smarter, is what I think.
For sure.
Because the memorization and the discipline isn't necessarily as important as the adjustment and the validation.
Right.
Well, I think exposure to things that you might not otherwise have exposure to, but also that the curriculum at the school is very play-based and self-directed, which is fantastic for fostering creativity and all sorts of things going forward.
Okay. Well, do we have another shot?
We have a couple.
A couple more? Yeah.
So then the gardening piece, we continue to work at growing and cultivating our gardens.
This is my favorite part of it.
So that
Isn't
the children,
so cool?
It really is.
Just know from the seed and the planting to the growing. The next picture shows the picking.
Next.
And the zucchinis.
He's got
and,
the zucchini.
and a parent came in and showed them how to make stuffed zucchini, and then they had that for their lunch.
Oh my God.
So there's opportunity there. And that initiative led to the creation of the actual theme of our annual gala, which is the next picture.
This is fantastic.
Don't you love this invite? I know.
I love this invite. So tell us about this, Kerstin. So tell us about this gala coming up. Tell us when it is.
Sure. So this is November 3rd at the Mystic Museum of Art in the evening, 6 to 10 p.m.
That's great.
Rock and Soul Review is the band. They're awesome. Aren't they great?
Yeah. Went to school with the Never mind. Yes, they're great.
So it's going to be great. Gourmet Galleys, catering.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Lots of sponsors on board. We're looking forward to a really fun evening. And at this point, we're thrilled for all the support we can get in terms of tickets are still on sale. They're available on our website. Sponsorships are still available. riverfrontchildren.org/tickets. We're going to have a silent auction that night. Again, the local community has been wonderful, but we'd love to continue to connect with anybody who's interested in being involved.
Do you have a live auction as well, an auctioneer?
No, we don't.
Okay, so you're just going to do the silent auction.
That's right.
This year. Because I've been to some of them. We've had a live auction, isn't there?
Before I came.
Right. There was a live auction going on. But I know this is a great night. So the Farm to Table Gala, the proceeds will go to?
This will go to our tuition assistance program, which again is helping families make attendance at Riverfront possible.
Okay, and Gourmet Gala. Whoever came up.
So I have to tell you, this is a local designer, and since this is a show about local businesses, so this is Trish LaPointe Design out of Old Mystic. She's super talented.
You tell Trish LaPointe, she just did a fantastic.
She really does.
Kudos out to Trish LaPointe. This is a perfect.
She did it last year too. And
yes, she did.
Yeah.
She's
so
very
attractive.
talented. Yeah.
And usually, how many people do you expect on this?
So this year we have a cap at 130.
Okay.
So there's some things left, but going quickly.
No, we've got to say November 3rd, right?
Yes.
Right.
From 6 to
10.
6 to 10, and Rock and Soul Review. I mean, you've got to just. I mean, if you want to just come and listen to that band, and of course you're supporting such a great organization.
I mean that venue is exceptional. I mean, what's more beautiful than the Mystic Museum of Art? So
we do have a few more minutes, and so just tell us a little bit, Susan, what you see for the future. I know we talked about this last year. I know she did. I was like, do you want to see a bigger building?
You know what? I know what I said. I remember now. I said mud kitchens, and you looked at me and went, what? And we have a mud kitchen.
We do.
She did. I remembered, and I was wondering if you're going to say, you have a mud kitchen.
So next year, we do. We have two. Next year is an incorporation of that mud kitchen within those garden pictures that you saw. So right now they're just kind of set aside in the garden. Yeah. They're going to be infused into the garden beds so children can do their own exploring within the garden.
She did say that.
Our curriculum coordinator's figuring that out, because I'm thinking about the plants that I want to grow, not pull out.
Yeah. But and you've already expanding out as far as your building wise. I mean, you've expanded, but could use probably somewhere down the road.
So we're in the midst of some strategic planning right now to look at some goals moving forward. And one of the biggest things about expansion has to do with how do you support that expansion if you bring more children in, and if you need to provide scholarships for them. Then that's additional fundraising or grants, and so that really is the basis of if we're expanding, where's that money going to come from, and is it 100% full pay families? Is it a combination? And if it's a combination, where are those fundraising dollars coming from? Not just to build a new building or expand a building, but to then support that day-to-day costs.
Exactly, and the program. So real quick, Kerstin, as we look forward, we only have like a couple seconds left, but looking to fundraising, is there any other fundraising going forward that you're looking at for the future?
So really the gala is our big event, and beyond that we do the annual appeal that we did this year for the food and its grants. That's really where we're at this point. But always looking to cultivate new donors, so we'd love to have friends attend the event.
Sounds great. Yes. So everybody, you've got the information on the screen. This went really fast. I mean, I could talk all day to these wonderful, beautiful women from the Riverfront Children's Center. There it is. That's the information. Frank, you do such a great job. Kristin, so glad to have you back again to pinch hit for me. Anyways, we are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Mystic matters. You matter. Good evening.